Tie me kangaroo down, sport, tie me kangaroo down. Play the didgeridoo, blue, play the didgeridoo. Wolf Creek. Wolf Creek is genuinely one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, mostly because it's rooted in fact. The film's inspired by the notorious backpack killer, who's confirmed to have killed at least 7 people in the 90s. And he's not alone. It says in plain English as soon as you put on the disc that over 30,000 people disappear in Australia every year, and 10% of them are never found. It makes me wonder why anybody vacations in the Badlands ever. The movie follows 3 British backpackers traveling to Wolf Creek Crater, which I don't vacation in holes and ditches, but if I did, man, that is one impressive ditch. Anyway, their car breaks down and they're rescued by Mick Taylor, who is the single most Australian person the world has ever come up with.
What the bloody hell are you mob doing out here? Scared the shit out of me.
He proceeds to take them out in the middle of nowhere and torture them, and they all have to try and escape the Badlands alive. And not all of them do, the statistics don't lie. It has a great use of darkness, amazing shots of the scenery, and surprisingly good character development for a slasher film taking place in the outback. The first 45 minutes of the movie are spent building up suspense until you realize that the character Mick is one of the most terrifying forces on screen to date. The sniper scene is one of the most tense things I've ever seen in a horror film, and the head on a stick part is downright disgusting when you think about what's actually happening.
Once your spine's severed, right? Oh, that's what you are, eh? Head on a stick?
That, ladies and gentlemen, might be the most evil, despicable thing I've ever seen caught on film. And it doesn't make it any less scary knowing what's going to happen, because they use that picture, that still of the paralyzed girl, in all their promotional materials, on the DVD box, and on the print of the DVD itself. And Mick's actions are one thing, but his smiling demeanor and his total enjoyment of the murders is almost disgusting. And that laugh. Dear God, that laugh. John Jarratt plays an absolutely terrifying villain as the deranged Aussie Mick Taylor, who spends the film so seamlessly treading the line between ruthless killer and smiling friendly joker that you really don't know what he's thinking, but it's probably not good.
Oh, I get around, you know. Never know where I might pop up.
He spends the entire film just murdering his way through Australia, and there's no resolution in the end. No justice for the victims. All you see is Mick walking away with the rifle in his hands, ready to kill again. And knowing the ending, by the way, takes away literally nothing from the overall impact of the movie. It pretty much tells you from the start, there's not going to be a happy ending to this, and it's actually kind of refreshing to see in a horror film by modern standards, because it's so unsatisfying. You want this guy to pay for what he's done, and he doesn't. There's no cheap Hollywood scare at the end of it either. You're just left with a feeling that something isn't right. The film felt just disturbingly real, and that's what I think made it so effective. It's genuinely scary, it has great performances, and this just amazing overtone of dread and fear. And there was a sequel, and it came out this year, and if you have a chance to pick between the two of them, don't. See them both. Wolf Creek 2 is awesome.
Welcome to Australia, cocksucker!
It's just as good, if not better, than the first. The characters are still really well defined, the terror levels are very personal and realistic, while also being completely insane. Mick does not stop with his constant one-liners and crazy torture methods, and the focus shifts in such a dramatic way. After the first 15 or 20 minutes, you have absolutely no idea where the film is going to go.
Tie me kangaroo down, sport! Tie me kangaroo down! Tie me... fuck you.
But the original is definitely something that I think everyone should see without question at least once. It's a dark, twisted movie that strikes every chord that a horror movie should. So, if you ask me, it's always worth watching. Even if it's ruined my perception of Australians.
Head on a stick?
You people seem so nice in Crocodile Dundee.